All right, so here we go into our lesson for today. Today, students will be able to simplify numeric and algebraic expressions using the law of exponents, including integral and rational exponents. Exponential function, remember that's when y equals something times something else to the power of x, when it's the power of x. The exponential parent function is y equals e to the x power. It's something that looks like this. That would be an exponential function. Remember, a power expression is like 4 to the 6th power, anything that has an exponent. The exponent is the 6 in 4 to the 6th power. That's called the exponent, is that 6. The base in 4 to the 6th power is that 4, okay? Multiplying powers with the same base. When you're multiplying powers with the same base, you're adding the exponents, okay? When you're dividing powers with the same base, you're subtracting those exponents. You're going to need these rules for today. When you're raising a power to a power, you're multiplying those exponents. And then compound interest we'll look at a little bit later on in the year. Exponential growth, when you read like a book that's going up. Exponential decay, when you read like a book that's going down. All right, so your worksheet is set up perfectly today to where I can do the first 4 problems on the left side, and then you'll be able to do the problems to the right of those examples, because the problems to the right of the examples are very similar to the problems that I'm actually going to show you. Okay, so for number 1, they're just multiplying, right? Now there's 2 ways you can go about doing this. I'm going to show you one way, and then I'll show you the other way, okay? The first way is I automatically start circling. You know what? No, I'm not even going to teach you that way. Here's how I'm going to teach you. Okay, so it's multiplying, right? So 3 times 5 is 15, right? So we did our numbers. Those are done. The next part, let's do our x's. Okay, let's do our x's. Since these are multiplying, what do we do to the exponents? We're adding the exponents. So we need to do -2 plus -1. So -2 plus -1 is the same as saying -2 minus 1, which is what? -3. So we have x to the -3. All right, then we're going to do y. We have y to the 4th. Okay, so we have 4 plus y to the -3rd. Okay, so 4 plus -3 is the same as saying 4 minus 3, which is what? 1. Okay, you don't have to write the 1 here, though. The next one, z. So we have z to the -1st, z to the -1st, plus -1. -1 plus -1 is the same as saying -1 minus 1, which is what? -2. Now that we've done this, remember, we cannot have a negative exponent, right? So let's circle our negative exponents. Okay, x and z. So now when we rewrite this problem, which 2 things stay on top? The 15 and the y. And these are negative, so we move them to the bottom. When we move them to the bottom, they become what? Positive. And this will be your answer, okay? So that's how you'll do the problems to the right, just like this, okay? Now, let's look at number 2. Number 2. Now, for this example, there's one really big thing I want you to notice, something that's crazy easy. Crazy easy. What do you see there that's crazy easy that we automatically know what it is? What do you notice about that y? It's being raised to the 0 power, right? So what does that y become? 1. Just 1. So we have, So we have 12 x to the -5th, 1 z to the 4th over 10x to the -4th and z to the -7th. Okay? 12 times 1 is what? Just 12. Okay? So we have 12 over 10. We're going to do our whole numbers first. What does that simplify down to? Type into your calculator, parentheses, 12 divided by 10, close parentheses. Okay, you hit enter, it says 1.2, so we hit math, enter, enter, 6 over 5. So we know our new answer needs to have 6 over 5. Okay? So now, we need to figure out, we've done the whole numbers, those are done. We need to figure out how to write the rest of it. Now, let's circle all our negatives. Those cannot be negatives. How can we make those a positive? We need to move them to the other side. So z to the fourth can stay here. He's fine. But this x to the negative fifth needs to come down here and become x to the fifth. This x to the negative fourth needs to move up and become x to the fourth. And this z to the negative seventh needs to come up and become z to the seventh. Okay, all we did was move them to the other spots. Now, let's write it out and see what we have here. So there are 4 z's. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there are 5 x's on bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 x's on top. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 7 z's on top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, with dividing like this, we need to play our matching game. Ready? So there's an x here and an x here. X here and an x here. X here, x here, x here, x here. Okay, so what are we left with? We have 1 x on bottom. Okay. What's left on top? 7 z's, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so now we'll come back to our answer over here that we know had to have that 6 over 5. And now we're going to add z to the 11th and x. Okay? This one may look crazy confusing. Just follow the rules you know. Do the steps you know. Come and check it with me. If you make an error somewhere, we'll correct it and you'll move on and you'll never make that error again. Okay? Now, let's look at number 3. Number 3. We have 4x to the third, y to the fifth, and all of that's being raised to the third. So we're going to write 4, We're going to write 4, 3 x's, and 5 y's. How many times do we need to write that? 3 times. Okay? So what's 4 times 4 times 4? Type that in your calculator. 64. How many x's do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And how many y's do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Ta-da! Now you could have also done it this way. 4 to the third power times 3 times 3 makes x to the 9th, and 5 times 3 makes y to the 15th. 4 to the third power is 64. Then you have x to the 9th and y to the 15th. This is how you would solve it with the rule. Okay, so you do whatever is easier for you. Let's look at number 4. Okay, you ready? Number 4. Number 4, I would suggest to write out. So have your line. We have 3 and 4 x's. Then we have 10 and 3 x's. On bottom, we have 6 and 5 x's. So let's take care of our whole numbers first. What's 3 times 10? 30 over 6, right? What's 30 over 6? It's 5, right? So that's going to put 5 on top because 5 is technically over 1. So in our answer down here that we're going to end up with, it's going to have 5 on top. All right, so now we've done away with our whole numbers. Now we just need to play that matching game. X is here, X is here, X is here, X is here, X is here. So what's left? 2 x's on top. So there's nothing left on bottom, so you can even just write your answer as 5x squared. Okay? Now, follow the examples I've done for you on the left to solve the problems to the right. Get as many done as possible as you can. Come and talk to me if you need help because you need to know how to do this, okay? You guys are going to do great. I know it.